Hello everyone, my name is Khristal Cuéllar Ledezma, and in this video I'll talk about arguments about why or the thought there is the thought of unrestricted access to firearms. So the reason why I chose these topics was thanks to the statistics I read upon before considering this topic, and studies are used frequently to know a problem is being addressed. According to the CDC, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, in 2021, 48,830 people died from gun-related injuries in the USA. In 2021, 43% of the deaths were murders, according to the CDC. They've been working for nearly 70 years to become better at statistics. And they say that about 8 in 10 murders in 2001 involved a firearm. The record of 48,803 total guns deaths in 2001 reflect a 33% increase since 2019. Those are part of the statistics. When discussing the gun death rate in the USA, it was found that it's much higher than in most other nations, particularly developed nations. The US's rate is not as good as in other nations. At first, I was shocked because I never heard those statistics before, but these are still far below from several Latin American countries. According to a 2008 study, about 195 countries and territories. The study was conducted by the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington. They had established these numbers before 2008. But the rating in the USA was much lower than in El Salvador. For example, in El Salvador, the rate is 39.2 per 1,000 and 1,000 people. Sorry. In Venezuela is 38.7. In Guatemala is 32.3. In Colombia is 25.9. And in Honduras is 22.5, thanks to the study findings. So it's thanks to the statistics that it is easy to see that a lot of murders are committed thanks to firearms. Every year, thousands of people are killed due to firearms. And the statistics of the USA count on the fact that in that country, there are rules that made for the regulation of the use of arms. Sadly, even if that's the case, people keep dying. So imagine if it was in control. It would be terrible. So murders could get out of hand. But even if arms are controlled, aspects like mental health problems, intolerance problems, and the lack of empathy that the world is drowning in today needs to be considered. My opinion is that unrestricted access to firearms cannot be permitted because is the uncontrolled use of arms the solution to the intolerance problem? I don't think so. So, even if that's the case, not everything is lost, for example, in the USA. Every day, 120 people are killed with guns. Researchers shows that common sense public safety laws can reduce gun violence and save lives. One example of this is the gun safety policies implemented in 50 states around the USA. California goes to the top with the best strong law policies around the country in the use of firearms. States with strong laws see less violence. Any other state is as good as California in gun control. Indeed, the states that have failed to put basic protections into place have a much higher rate of gun deaths than the national gun safety leaders. According to Everytown Gun Law Rankings, if every state in the country had the same gun control or the same death rate of the national leader, California, it would be different. If every state in the country had the gun death rate of the national leader, they went on with the program, they could save 298,000 lives in the next decade. It's impressive. So if that's implemented, lost lives wouldn't be as bad as they are today. Another example of this happened here in Colombia. There have been better results in restricted arm control than in unrestricted arm control. In 2012, in Bogotá, Medellín, they introduced a permanent gun carrying restriction. Gun-related mortality rates in these cities, intervention cities, were compared with the rates in all other Colombian cities with more than 500,000 inhabitants in the control cities. The data from the Colombian National Department of Statistics to calculate monthly gun-related mortality rates between 2008 and 2004 was used for intervention and control of cities. Restriction led to a 22.3% reduction in the monthly gun-related mortality rate in Bogotá and Medellín. The reduction was greater in public areas and for males. The results were as good as they expected. Robustness checks supported the assumptions of the models. The permanent restriction on carrying guns reduces gun-related accidents and deaths. So this policy could be used to reduce gun-related problems and injuries in urban centers in other countries and the large number of gun-related deaths that happen in Colombia. As shown before, strong laws against the use of firearms prevent murders. But even if I think it's extremely important to have gun restriction laws, I think that the problem resides in the lack of values that can be evidenced in today's society. I think that needs to be watched out. Unrestricted access to arms is not as good as one might think. From my point of view, before considering whether people should have access to arms or not, the first problem to be addressed is why would anyone will need an arm if there are no problems. I disagree with the fact or with the idea of unlimited access to guns because some small problems could turn into something worse if they are not controlled. Of course, a world without problems could only be possible with God's help. I speak up for that thought, but some problems could be addressed today. I hope to see that. Education can improve social life through teaching ethical values, cultural difference, and tolerance. I've seen that has worked before. I have information gathered for this video. Even Williams in 2004 stated that education is vital in improving individual ethical standards and values to achieve a quality life, and education seems to be one of the best solutions. I stand up for that idea. In this context, tolerance education develops young people's skills for independent judgment, critical thinking, and ethical reasoning. This was said by UNESCO in 1994. I don't consider education as a waste for future generations, neither do they, UNESCO. And as well, several studies focus on pedagogical dimension and tolerance for professional development and school context focus on that. For instance, Janosova and Leukatina in 2019 emphasized the importance of tolerance education in communication. What I'm trying to say is what the world actually needs is education. These investigators made the students search for the results of tolerance in education. With education, the results in social interaction and intolerance in the future won't be as bad as they are today. In that way, I think it could be possible to get better at gun control and fulfill the thought of perish the thought of unrestricted access to arms. I look forward to it. Thank you so much.